you. Mr. Appleton? Button up. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, for having me here today. My name is Tim Appleton, campaign manager for Compassionate Choices, the nation's oldest and largest nonprofit organization that works to improve care and expand choice at end of life. House Bill 7659 is sound legislation, and the citizens of Rhode Island deserve its passage into law. I did submit testimony. It's about 8 pages. You're certainly welcome to read it. Extensive footnotes as well with references. But I'll summarize and with some notes that happened today. So there's 30 years of combined experience in this legislation amongst a number of different states. Most recently, the state of California passed this bill. In fact, the medical society there, after years of opposition, is now neutral on this matter that helped pave the way for passage. There's 2 decades of experience in Oregon, and there's a lot of things we do know. One of them is that the problems that our opponents discuss over and over again have not happened in the 30 years of combined experience on this legislation. We know that end-of-life care has improved overall since the law's passage, and that's because physicians and their patients talk more and more openly about end-of-life choice. We also know that hospice use is higher in a state like Oregon. Referrals are up, and some hospice programs have reported a 20% increase in referrals since medical aid in dying was passed there. In-hospital death rates are the lowest in the nation in Oregon, and at-home death rates are the highest in the nation. And violent suicide and under hospice care has pretty much evaporated in Oregon. Those are all good things. Now, I know my time is short, but let me just finish with this. One of the opponents that was up before, I guess I would ask, what would opponents suggest to those that are really dying, days, a month, or 2 away from death? People like Mal Gorin. These are all friends of mine. Mal Gorin, Brad Blanchard, Bill Meyer. In between, Mr. Chairman, I was up here last year. In between the last time we met and today, those were all people that passed away without this choice, that wanted this choice.
That's time.
Some of them, if I may
Thank you.
finish, thank you. Some of them, Representative Rugenberg saw today.
Thank you. Are there any questions for these witnesses? Representative Handy.
Thank you, Chairman. There was something you'd said. I just wouldn't. You'd said violent suicide is down in Oregon. Could you give me the? I mean, again, maybe it's in your notes, but if you wouldn't mind giving me that a little more detail on what you meant.
That's detailed in the written testimony I have, and what I'm talking about is violent suicide under hospice care. So for those in Oregon where there is an option for aid in dying, there's no need to be terminally ill, mentally capable, and go out and take your own life in a violent way. That violent death under hospice care has been virtually eliminated. And it's an issue that as you begin to speak more and more about this, you'll realize that it's a legitimate issue that comes up for those under hospice care. And, just to extend that remark, this is an issue that, achieved mainstream conversation when young Brittany Menard had to move from California to Oregon.
Yeah, we have other people that want to extend that conversation as well, sitting behind you.
Okay.
But we'd love to hear all of the stories. Representative Riegenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since you have a lot of experience in the other states that have done this, I'm just curious, in the states that have this legislation, does everyone always use it if they request it, or does that not always happen?
I'm glad you asked that question. Again, this is in my written testimony. What we know to be true is those that qualify for the medication, 60% of those that qualify, 60% of those that get the medication go through the lengthy 2- and 3-week process to get this medication. Only 60% of those actually ingest the medication to end their life. This leaves just over 40% when you look at the statistics that die a natural death. But what they have is a means with which to control the illness. 80% of the time it's cancer that's already taking their life.
So it's a choice to apply for the medication, and then it's a choice afterwards whether to use it.
That's correct. That's correct. No one, this legislation in Rhode Island and the 30 other states where this is being considered, this doesn't mandate anyone doing anything. You know, if you're a physician, you don't have to prescribe this medication. If you're a terminally ill person that doesn't support this at all, there's nothing that says you have to go and get this medication. If you're someone that goes through the lengthy process to get the medication, there's nothing that says, no one's looking at a watch saying, oh, time's almost up for you. There's nothing that says you have to take it even after you go through the lengthy process. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you. Are there any further questions for these witnesses? Thank you very much.